So I'm sitting here in the operating room. I'm about to take the strings off and remove the bridge, but there are one or two things I wanted to show you in doing some measurements. So we've got the Callaham bridge here. Looks pretty good. I'll take a couple of nice shots of it just now, bridge and the block. So the Callaham website talks about a 56mm string spacing or a 52mm string spacing. This guitar sits smack dab in the middle at 54. So it's difficult to understand. Well, this thing will fit, I'm sure, I hope. But whether I should have gone for the 56mm bridge or the 54mm, 52mm bridge. See, I'm getting confused now. So it's either supposed to be 56 or 52. Looking at the current bridge, when we measure that, we measure across the current bridge from screw to screw, we're looking at 54mm. So we'll check that, 54mm, yep. There's something else I saw on this guitar that I want to show you that tells me it should be the 56mm. And to do that, we'll have to take a closer look at where the strings pass by the neck. Okay, I wanted to measure the guitar at this fret. So end to end on this fret, we're looking at 56mm, just larger than 56mm. Okay, I'm going to do that again. Okay, here we are, 56mm. Right, now that means that at this 21st, 22nd frets wire, that the neck is 56mm wide. Now, when shout out to my son's school, I've got their ruler here. When I measure from the end to, let's put that up there, from the end into the low E string, so the top string, that's sitting on 4mm in. Okay, let's get closer so you can see that. So from the end in, that's sitting on 4mm. On the lower end, we'll do the same. Stretch here because of the case. The lower end we do the same, measure from there, and now we are sitting at 3mm to the fret. What is it like on this side? 4mm to the fret. Can you see that? So to the end of the fret, that's 4mm, and on this side, I'll use the 50 as an example. 3 mils to the end of fret. Get that right? 3 mils to the end of fret. Which tells me that this string is 1mm over than it should be. Either that or I'm just being a complete numpty and the thickness of strings is making a difference. Well, maybe I'm just seeing things. Measure the widths of the strings without closing them. We are looking at the fret 48mm minus 56. There should be 4mm on each side. Okay, perhaps I'm completely wrong. Maybe it just that's the way it was, but the fact that we definitely know that the current bridge that's on the guitar is 54mm and the one I'm about to put on is 56mm. I'm definitely looking to see what the difference is, considering that the higher E string will be a little bit over. So here we are, side by side. original MIJ bridge, Callaham bridge. So as we measured before, we had 56mm screw to screw and 54mm screw to screw. The depths are relatively similar. Just looking at the two bridges, obviously there's some shapes that are different. I'd argue that this one looks more consistent shape-wise. This one looks thinner, but perhaps that's going to add to what it is. They look about the same thickness, although we have a tool that can test that. So let's measure the thickness of this bridge. We are looking at, let's get it on camera, 3.35. Can you see that? 3.35. That's the one that lines up. Now let's look at the thickness of this. Same spot. Look, we are seeing 3. Ooh, this is interesting. 3.7. 3.75. So it's 0.4 of a millimeter thicker. Does that mean anything? Oh, who knows yet. The blocks look quite different. Wow, look at that. Look at that. That is different. Let's look at them from the side. Quite a different shape. Very interesting. I wonder how that's going to affect the trem operation, although I never use it that deep. But that's quite a different trem block. Both stick to. Yeah, and then the obvious difference is going to be in the saddles. Okay, taking a quick look at this neck again. This is with the new bridge. So this little ruler, Mind the Dirt, has 0.5 millimeters on it. So if you look carefully, you can see the 0.5 mils. So I actually want to zoom in and just look at this neck, or this string like we did last time. Just touching it on, we're looking at, be sure not to move it. Okay, I'm moving it. This is harder than it looks. There. 1, 2, 3.5 mils to the end of the neck. Can you see that? 1, 2, 3.5, just short of 3.5 millimeters to the end of the neck. Okay, looking at the E now. Probably going to be a little bit more difficult. We have it there, so we're just going to touch it, and it should be less because the string's thicker. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3.5 mils to the end of the neck, so it's a little bit more evenly balanced. I know that the problem did lie with this bottom E string, and playability wise it's actually a little easier because when you bend, this neck has quite a small radius, so it bends quite a lot, and you can actually only bend it a certain way up. So coming down by 1 millimeter just allows me to bend it a little easier when I do play up there. So the new bridge is on. Not that you can see any difference. Well, it's up close it's a lot cleaner. It's very interesting how with that string being more aligned, I can actually bend it a little better because the radius is quite hard, as I mentioned earlier. So it's interesting. It's you know, it's hard to say what difference it's made. It certainly feels a little better. It feels softer, but I can't tell you whether that's from the strings or not, to be fair. So, you know, having made the change, setting up the intonation and the action, it's pretty cool. I can tell you that positions 2 and 4 are a lot more alive. So there's the neck pickup alone, and the bridge pickup, and then in between it's a little jazzier. And if we go down to what position 2, so there's our bridge as opposed to our middle, and in between so it's interesting. It definitely feels a lot better. It sounds I wonder what the psychological difference is, you know, because we like to think, okay, I've put a new, more expensive bridge in, that it sounds better. When I ran comparative audio signals through the FFT filter, there wasn't much apparent. As you can see, the yellow is old and the blue is the new bridge. But there are differences, but it's nothing groundbreaking that's worth actually going any further into. But it sounds okay, you know, I'm quite happy with it. I've spoken about it a lot. This is going to be the last change I make to the guitar for a while before I go ahead with new pots. So we still got a bit of a lockdown, so by the time these stores open we'll be looking at that. But I'm happy with it, man. So if you are thinking of upgrading your Squier with the Callaham bridge, go ahead, I recommend it, and have fun. So I'm going to enjoy it because I think it's quite cool. It's definitely feels like a new guitar to me. Okay, well, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and give it a like. Any feedback is welcome, as well as any requests. So if you want me to, you know, maybe try some different things on the guitar or try one of my other 2 guitars. Yeah, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. And I look forward to seeing you again. And happy jamming.